Perhaps you're anxious all the time because you are arrogant. I'm speaking of Psalm 131, and it's the shortest of the Psalms of Ascent, which are psalms about the journey home to Jerusalem. And one of the obstacles in the Psalms that the Lord's people face is the arrogance of their own hearts, which cause them to be filled with anxiety, taking responsibility for things that have never been delegated to them. You'll notice that David begins with his description of humility. His heart is not lifted up. He does not see himself in high places to which he has not been summoned, and his eyes are not raised, meaning he's not looking down upon others. And so the psalm celebrates the bliss of humility. And you'll see, therefore, it flees trying to be responsible for things it cannot control. Things that are too great or too marvelous. David, as king of the land, says, I don't run after those things. They've not been given to me. I'm not going to solve what is beyond my ability. And so he immediately recognizes that there are jurisdictions in the world he's not responsible for. You're not responsible for how people respond to you. You can't change the future. Which of you, by worrying, can add an hour to your life, as Jesus taught? David recognizes the limitations of his jurisdiction as a human being. Now, there is something put in our jurisdiction, and this is what humility does. Instead of trying to expand our jurisdictions to take responsibility for the things we've never been given, David says, actually, what is within my jurisdiction is the quieting or calming of my own soul. And so he describes himself as one like a weaned child with its mother. He describes his own soul that way with the Lord, as he says at the end in verse 3, hope or trust in the Lord. In other words, what David is taking responsibility for in his humility is not trying to solve everything so that he has perfect peace in what he can accomplish or handle. His peace comes from the fact that he knows the one who holds everything. And therefore, what is his jurisdiction is not to expand responsibilities for what is not his. What's his jurisdiction is to calm and quiet his soul with the truth of God. Hence why Jesus tells us, if you want to enter the kingdom of heaven, you must humble yourself and become like a child.